I would have lost it. Like my worst self would have came out in that moment.
That would have been
I would have been
TV.
like, you.
I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, if a person is dumb as rocks but hot as hell,
Yeah.
does that are they hot then? Are they sexy?
It can be either.
Do those two things go together? Like, can you not have one without the other? Like, if someone's just like, say someone's super hot, but you find out they're a Republican.
Ooh, yuck.
So now they're not hot anymore then?
No.
Okay, so it does matter.
Well, I mean, yes, but like in the same way that like, I don't know, like you would use the word yummy to describe all different types of food.
Yeah.
Right?
People sometimes.
But I'm just saying like descriptors like, what is the word? Not adverbs.
No?
Adjectives.
No, adjectives.
Oh my God.
Don't ask me. I'm not gonna lie. I have spent so many times trying to, I'm not really great with that. So I'm glad you figured it out.
Me too. Adjectives have like multiple meanings sometimes, like they're situationally dependent, I think.
Oh yeah, of course. Totally.
So I think somebody could be hot. Well, and also too, like, okay, so if somebody is like super physically attractive, but they're a Republican, like that doesn't mean they're not physically attractive. Yeah. Right? It's just that they're no longer attractive to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think also too, like, again, it's the thing that like adjectives have multiple meanings, right? Where like, sure, they're still attractive, like in theory, but they're not like they're ugly now to me. You know what I'm saying?
It's like that. Oh, it reminds me of that thing where they're like, you're the whole X thing. You know what I'm talking about? Where like, because it's funny, because it's so true. Because like, some of the people I've dated in the past and stuff, and then you break up with them and you're like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yes.
But like, really, that's not the reality. It's just you don't like them anymore.
Yes.
Or
I do this a lot when I date.
I do sometimes have like post-date clarity.
Well, and it's like when you date a particular type of person. I think also too.
Oh, okay.
Like when you are working through your own self-esteem stuff, or like because dating doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? And so like I think for us, especially like if you're going through a period of time where you're like feeling like particularly emotional, or like if you're feeling some type of way about yourself, and then like I've done this before. I think I've talked about this on the pod before, where like after having cut things off with a person, I was like, wow, that was like what was wrong with me?
What was I doing?
Like, why was I allowing this person to treat me this way?
Post-breakup clarity.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, yeah. I don't know where all of that came from.
I was thinking about it because we were talking about something in the car. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
I just like, I wonder if that matters.
We talk about many things in the car.
There's so many things.
I love our little car talks.
Me too.
We have good car chats.
Speaking of car talks.
Car talks.
What are we unpacking today?
Oh boy, we're talking about Love is Blind.
I am excited. I'm looking forward to the updates.
I
was just
so many thoughts.
While you were doing that.
Yeah, but did you see that?
It was so good.
Flawless.
It looks like, that was amazing.
Seamless. Good for me.
Flawless was,
incredible. Okay. Never been done
You're
before.
The best.
Amazing.
No one's better than you. No one's better than you. It's never been done.
No. You know that gif of Lady Gaga, right?
Oh,
you know
yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get that right away. Thank you for.
Okay. Yeah, that's the joke I was making.
I feel embarrassed now.
No, you're fine. I just don't want people to think that I'm like saying that about myself.
You're hyping
like
yourself up at first.
No, it's a joke. But yeah, so we're talking about Love is Blind today because we just finished the streams for episodes 1 through 3 and then like 10 minutes of episode 4. I hate the way that Netflix structures episodes now. They did this on they did this on How to Build a Sex Room, and it makes me irrationally fucking angry.
Just like, what is wrong? Like, if someone's gonna binge the show, they're gonna binge the fucking show. Like, you don't need to fucking manipulate them any more than you do. They're like, not only are we gonna manipulate the contestants, we're getting your guys' asses too.
100%.
Also, like, if someone was gonna watch the first episode of Love is Blind, they're probably gonna watch all fucking 4.
Maybe. I think after you make it past like the first 2, probably at least.
That's what I'm saying. But like, you're in it. Like, if you're watching Love is Blind, like you're.
Yes. The thing that sucks is that I know that it probably is effective.
Oh, clearly it worked.
But I still hate it. To be clear, I still hate it, and I still stand by the fact that they really shouldn't do that. But yeah, so we watched episodes 1 through 3. I was really only planning on watching 1 and 2, but I just breezed through the second episode, I guess. So I was like, fuck it, we have time. And then so we watched episode 3, and then there's a big cliffhanger at the end of episode 3. And I was like, well, fuck, I regret this now. So we watched the next 10 minutes of episode 4.
Which I feel like I also wonder too, well, how many episodes are there going to be? 12?
it says right now that there's scheduled to be 10 episodes released, but I don't fucking buy that. They always do this with Love is Blind where they say, oh, episode 10 is going to be released on this day. And then there's like a fucking follow-up episode or 2 follow-up episodes.
Just like someone hit the button by it, like they bumped into it and they're like, oh, they're actually up.
And it's like the reunion thing, which is like fine. I get that. But also like we all know that you're going to do a fucking reunion.
No, literally.
We all know that you're going to do After the Altar. Can you please just tell us when those are fucking coming out?
Like, it's not like it's a surprise. Like they already have.
That's what I'm saying. We're on season 5.
They've done this before.
We know.
They're
like everybody knows.
Do you think they're going to do a live show again?
No. I hope not. It was a fucking bloodbath last time.
Great for us. Awful for them.
Yeah, that's true. It did work out. I don't know. I think it worked out for us.
Because we watched it off of someone's TikTok, didn't we? Because they were streaming.
Yep. So yeah, we sat down after we watched those episodes. I told Chad on the stream, I was like, I'm actually going to go home and show Aaron these episodes. Because sometimes when I stream shows, you don't necessarily get to like watch them. No,
most of the time I normally do, especially because on Fridays.
Yeah, you end up watching the stream like everybody else on YouTube. And so you have the overlay. So you don't necessarily know who I'm talking about.
Oh, no. It is literally Love is Blind for me.
Yeah. Which personally, just as an aside, I think that's kind of funny. Especially when we stream Love is Blind, that we have the overlay, and so it really is like Love is Blind.
No, literally, yeah.
I think it's kind of funny. I saw a TikTok of somebody who was talking about how when they watch the show at home, they put a blanket over their TV and take it off when the reveals happen. So they're like, I get to like play along. Like, I don't know.
Oh, that's way better. Why are we not doing that?
I know. I think that's kind of fun.
They should have a black. No one would watch it. I don't know.
No, they would never.
They could just have puppy B-roll the whole time.
Okay, but the puppy B-roll is like such a choice.
I know.
In hindsight, I really am glad that we did that.
Oh yeah,
because I think it makes the show a lot more watchable.
No, honestly,
personally, that clip of, is it Toby from The Ultimatum? It was like Madeline and like
yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Tovin or something. I can't remember what his name is.
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
I don't remember what his name is either. But that clip of him crying in the bathroom because the ultimatum was like starting to get stressful and whatever. Yeah. And there's just a puppy spinning on a Roomba superimposed over his face. I'm never going to fucking forget that.
I forgot about that.
We didn't do that on purpose. No. It was just the way that the B-roll landed. And I thought it was so funny because we saw a comment about it and I was like, shut the fuck up. And I went and rewound. And it's
that shit's funny as fuck.
The single best clip of TV that's ever existed.
Oh my God. I forgot we used to do that.
I know. But yeah, so you don't normally get to like sit and watch the episodes with me. But I told Chat on those episodes, like, I'm literally going to go home and I'm going to sit down with Aaron and make him watch this because it just defies sense.
And you followed through. Thank you. Can't believe the journey. I wish I almost had recorded my reaction or something.
I know. I kind of wish I had to.
I'm glad you got yours. I was dying laughing watching that back. Honestly,
it's kind of funny. Also, just to be clear, there's going to be spoilers in here for episodes 1 through 3 and like a little bit of 4. Yeah. There's like a big moment that happens between 2 of the contestants. I mean,
if you're in here, this is spoilers. We're going to talk about it as.
Listen, I'm just being clear because I don't want any.
I know.
Hate comments. Don't come for me. Like if you're in here with the understanding that we're probably going to spoil some of the big plot points for you. So
prepare to be spoiled.
But yeah, so we watched those sections of the episodes.
Yeah.
Off the dome, what's your opinion on somebody like Uche, who like read Aaliyah the riot act about having cheated in a previous relationship and then, as it turns out, is being dishonest this whole time?
Because I want to, as you did to me, I want to go on the journey.
Yeah.
Because initially I was like, this dude kind of seems like a bite in the ass, and then like a lawyer, and then a business owner, and or CEO, or the fuck, and like. And I rolled my eyes, but then like all the poetry stuff and the art, and then I'm like a sucker, and I'm like, all right, so maybe there's like a little flesh, like this dude's pretty fleshed out, like all right, fine,
sweet.
Like definitely not hard on the eyes or anything either. So I'm like, all right, fine, maybe that's just me being a little jealous of the whole package over here.
Okay,
And I was like, all right, Aaron, like you just like this is your own shit coming up, so like just shut the fuck up. Like maybe they casted some really nice people this time, and they like, all right, so maybe like just Aaron, this is a good learning moment for you. There's gonna be some growth here. Yeah, and then that shit popped off. Against Aaliyah.
Yeah, Aaliyah.
The thing to me is, I was like, are you going to fuck this dude after? Like, are you hoping?
Uche, yes.
Are you hoping he sees this and you're like,
literally,
I got her ass so good for you, bro. Don't worry, dude.
That's what I was saying.
High five, man. Like I really laid into her. Don't worry.
Is that your buddy? Like, did he pick you yet?
Maybe they're probably best friends too. He probably knew her too.
I don't understand. Like, what would possess somebody to have this level of vitriol about something that doesn't affect you at all? Like at all. I can understand somebody feeling like, maybe that makes me a little nervous about you know, like the future of our relationship. Yeah. But he was like really fucking laying into her about how like you weren't honest with him and you didn't tell him because you would have had to confront your own shame.
Yes.
Like, hello?
Like, bro, this isn't a therapy session, dog.
No, literally. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. It's like, are you a therapist? Do you fancy yourself qualified to do this? Like, what? Also, you can't do that. You can't, even if he was a therapist, you can't therapize people who are like your friends or haven't consented to you being a therapist. So like, what are you doing?
My impression of that whole, I don't know what perspective this would come from, but to me, it comes across as like, okay, if I marry or I propose to this person and I tell Aaliyah, like, we'll work on this and we'll be in a relationship together.
Sure.
And then she fucks something up in the future.
Sure.
He's already got her ass. He'd be like, see, she was a cheater from the beginning. She was a cheater from the beginning. I knew I should have trusted my gut and I didn't.
Yep.
And I got swept up in the experience. And like, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Damn.
But then he is also like, yeah, I cheated. I kissed someone too.
Literally.
Which also, like, we're so fucking broken. I feel like I'm like, so.
To be clear, if you violate the terms of your relationship, though, that's still a betrayal of trust. But yes, I hear what you're saying. But
also then when stuff like that,
but I'm like that's so mild.
When stuff like that comes up from the past, and before like we were like officially poly, but then like we became poly, I was like, oh yeah, that all makes sense because like stuff would be happening with us, and we'd like
we just had a very loose appreciation for monogamy.
Oh, that's
anyways.
like that's kind of crazy. Like that's kind of weird that happened, but like I'm like I should be more upset about this.
I know, but neither of us were really ever like hurt by that. Yeah.
This show's always cracked me up for that kind of reason too. But yeah, just kind of like this, like, well, now I have like a trump card.
Yes.
And I have a trap card now that like if she fucks anything up or whatever, I can come back to this moment. He's like, now I have the higher ground in the relationship.
It really did come off like he was sort of fishing for ammunition to be like, I'm a better person than you, and so therefore like you're welcome morally that I'm choosing to be with such a damaged and broken person.
Can you believe me down here in the dumps with the cheaters? You know, like
there was a lot of talk in the chat too when we were watching that episode live that it came across like he was intentionally manipulating her, or like
it feels
like he was like fishing for stuff so that he could use that to like make her feel like shit about herself, and then do the thing where like you suck, you're a shitty person, I'm leaving, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, and then to like make her grovel, and then when she comes back she'd be like, okay, I forgive you for a thing that you didn't even do to
literally.
Me, to like set up this power dynamic of like I therefore am always sort of like, you know, this is like a pity vote, basically. Like, you're welcome.
I'm the moral and ethical compass.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that he did that on purpose, or do you think that he was just like kind of putting his ass in the street a little?
I can't tell if he was just being a fuck or like actually meant, like, because obviously like I can understand like which is also why the concept of the show is fucking stupid in the first place, like choosing to propose and marry someone based off of this. But also it always cracks me up every single time when they're like, wow, I didn't know like you could make a connection this fast or whatever, but like this is just like you're just like pumping NRE into these fucking rooms, like you might as well put it in a gaseous form and let them suck it down
straight to the jugular. Like, hello.
But also that thing you said too where it's a competition where you're getting your pick as fast as you can before they're all scooped up.
Yep.
Because I think you said there was another situation in the show this season again, which always happens, where someone dumped somebody and then went to the person they wanted to be in a relationship and then got dumped by them.
Yep.
And then went back to the other person. Double back. Yes, and they're like, oh my God, I'm just kidding. I totally did not totally mean that. You're not my second choice, and like I won't resent you now for the rest of the experiment. Totally, I won't do that.
Yes. Which always happens, and it's so disappointing when it happens.
I think too, because the thing that cracks me up about that too is because people have watched it now.
Yes.
Like the first one, the second season, like I could almost give them an excuse.
Maybe even season 3.
Maybe.
But at this point,
like you know what you're, no. But also Netflix doesn't tell you what show you're getting on. It sounds like too sometimes.
Fair, but still.
Also, clearly they're not doing background checks. Like I really want to apply to the one in Phoenix.
Do you think that first of all you would make it in? But second of all, how like you're legally married?
Clearly they're not. I guess that's more.
We're not getting a divorce.
No, we're not getting a divorce. Oh my God, never.
So that we could get on Love is Blind. That's insane. Also, let's be real. Of the two of us that they would cast, it would definitely be you. They're not out here casting fat people.
Well, they would, but you just wouldn't make it very far in the experiment.
That's so fucked up. That's kind of true, huh?
Yeah, no,
they'd cast me as the diversity pick.
Look, as I was saying though, with Uche, because we were talking about him. Do we think he did it on purpose?
Yeah. Do you think that he made this calculated choice to manipulate Aaliyah, or do you think that he was just being a dick?
So I was saying yes in like affirmation to you. To say whether he was doing it on purpose or not, it's hard to know. I think Like my gut is I want to say yes, because then also still he had the clarity after the fact to do some like self-reflection, and like after he had that conversation, well, that was very, I wouldn't call it a conversation, more like he sat and talked to that person who sat there and made some affirmative, but like it really, like conversation with dudes really do be like that sometimes.
Okay, yeah, actually I wanted your feedback about this, because while we were sitting and watching these clips, I made my best effort to like paint Aaron a picture, right? Like I showed you all of the clips.
I was right there with you guys. I was on the highs. I was like, wow, these two actually might be like a really great fit. And the poetry stuff I thought was like,
well, and I showed you the clips of Lydia with Izzy and Lydia and Milton.
I was like, you the whole time you're like, Lydia does not miss.
Yes.
You're really hyping me up, because I was like, damn. I was like, Lydia doesn't even deserve to be on this show. I was like, she is like on another fucking level. I was like, did they like plant a therapist in here and like is like actually providing emotional support for people?
Yeah. Oops.
As
it turns out, nope. She's just really good at giving. She's good at giving feedback about Uche because she dated him before.
Team Lydia destroyed.
Just the worst.
Devastated.
But while we were sitting and watching these clips, you watched a section of Uche talking to some other men in like the men's quarters area.
The firefighter guy.
Yeah. I think JP is his name. About the whole thing that had just gone down with Aaliyah. And you were like, does he even need him for this conversation? And I feel like you make that commentary a lot when we watch like men talk to each other on like TV and stuff. And so I'm very curious, like, is this what it's like in real life?
I mean, like, I'm very much a beta cuck soy boy, I guess. So like, I do be feeling myself and my feelings. Not like so effectively, but like, you know, sometimes
I think so.
Some conversations I have with other men and stuff sometimes just like does not give. I'm like, are you talking to me? Or it's like you just need a warm body here for this conversation, because like you don't need my input on any of this. Like you're just
this is the thing too, like there's been a lot of discourse about the way that men and women communicate to each other. And how like women especially, and like femme presenting folks, like basically people who are not cishet men, right, tend to experience this phenomenon of like shared community and shared understanding, right? Like I think most people who, you know, fit into that category of like not a cishet white man have at some point done the thing where like drunkenly in the bathroom you like make a new best friend, you know, and you're like
femme presenting people. Totally. I've seen like,
you
that's
know?
very much like,
or like when you like feel sick in the bathroom and somebody holds your hair for you and you don't know who they are. You don't know their name, but they're just like, you're going to be okay, girl. Like I got your back. And you're like, thank you. You know, like I feel like most people have had that experience. And there's just been a lot of discourse about how this is not a thing that men really experience. And I am curious about that too, because like in this sort of experiment, right, where they segregate everybody based on their, gender identity, essentially, it seems like every time they show clips anyways of the women's quarters, they're like dancing together. They're having little jokes together.
It's Barbie Land.
Even this... It is Barbie Land. Even the sections where Aaliyah and Lydia are sitting on the couch and they're like kind of sad, right? You can literally hear in the background people are like, wow.
No, literally, no, everything. They're like, we were doing our best. We can't cut this audio.
Yes, yeah. And so I'm just so curious about like the actual discourse that's happening in terms of like emotional processing, right? This is like a very long-winded way for me to say I'm curious if the men are actually able to effectively process what's happening to them, what they're feeling, what they're like thinking or needing or whatever, because we've seen on camera that the women are doing like the most to support each other. Clearly. Anytime somebody comes back to the women's quarters crying, it's this immediate like, are you okay? What happened? What do you need? I'll go get her water. You sit down on the couch. Like everybody, you know, like it's this immediate caretaking like show of community support thing. And the men's quarters is just kind of like.
I want to ask something too in regard to that too. Because the toxic part of my mind always wonders though, like when femme presenting people do that though, do you think there any part of there that's like, oh, they want the tea, they want the goss?
Oh, for sure.
They want to know what's going on.
There's definitely that aspect of it too.
Without a doubt, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like you want to be in the loop.
Yeah, well, and this is also the gossip thing that we talked about, right?
I will say too, speaking of the gossip thing, I don't know who it is. I don't know what character it is.
Sorry, I had to
but also, Kyle Prue, if you see this, I found another way to piss off men is to call football players characters, especially in referring to fantasy football. They're all just characters in their shows, their little shows.
So funny. I'm 100%.
Someone literally was like, they're not characters, and I was like, they're basically characters. You got like little stats and stuff for them, right? Like I have characters too, my D&D characters. Big mad.
What did they say?
I don't want to get into it any farther than that, but we did get into it a little bit.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
And I was just doing it. I actually said it by accident. And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I felt like I got an infinity stone on that one. Like I started filling up my gauntlet.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah. My favorite Kyle Prue, like ways to piss off men is the one that woman made a TikTok of where she was like, I actually did it. It really worked. Where like when a man comes up to you and is trying to hit on you or whatever, you pretend that you can't hear him and just go, I don't have any change. Sorry. And just keep walking.
It's so effective. It's so good.
She was like, I actually did it, and he got really mad, and then she just ran away, basically. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, so that's incredible.
That's the pro tip for this episode.
Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely doing that. But no, okay, so I genuinely, like, what are your thoughts anyways? Okay. So, like, because obviously I'm not a man.
On what?
Right?
Oh, the communication?
I'm going to ask you in a second. I'm obviously not a man, right? We all know I'm a genderless blob, but, like, I don't know what it's like to have friendships or discourse, especially, yes, with, like, cis-het men.
Yeah.
So what's your hypothesis about how effectively these men are actually communicating with each other about their big feelings in regards to what's happening in the pods? Do you think they come back and they're just like vibes only, we're here like play pool and just like, jerk each other off? Or do you think that they're like actually talking deeply about what's going on for them?
I think circle jerking is definitely happening.
Yeah.
So I think in my impression, I mean, again, I would love to be on the shows as like a little secret, like just like a little fly on the wall. I would assume that none of these men are making deep enough connections. Like there's friendship bonds growing and stuff, obviously going through shared like
it's essentially a trauma.
Traumatic experience together. Yeah. And so I feel like it's like the surface level thing, the friends thing we talked about in the video, where like we're talking about the weather, we're talking about our interests and things that are like generally surface level and like agreed upon, and like so like I'm sure there's that form of camaraderie going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, like as far as like the emotional processing and stuff, I can't imagine, and it depends on the emotional maturity of the group as a whole.
True.
And like the age.
Yeah.
I would say, like,
that's a good point actually.
Like not in a fucked up way too, but like anyone under like 24. Unless they've done the work.
Yes, I think that's a fair like generalization that the older you get, the more effective you are at processing your emotions.
As like a math person, I would say like you're probably not doing the fucking most in there. And and again too, like I could be totally wrong, but like general my impression is as like working a job too where I get to experience like the gamut dynamic of like ages.
Yes.
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure we're in there to some degree like, oh man, my feelings are hurt, or like it's always the same fucking shit though, where it's like man, I just don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to open up and get hurt. Like, also, like, you're on a show about falling in love. Like, your ass is definitely going to get fucking hurt. Like, why is that? That should be in the waiver. But also, too, this is also what cracks me up when people talk about, like, oh, I can never imagine being polyamorous and loving. And again, I'm not saying everyone should be polyamorous or whatever.
No, yes,
but when we go back to the thing, like, they're all dating everyone all at the same time.
Yes.
And, like, clearly having feelings for more than one person at a time.
Yes.
Like,
but the idea that you could love more than one person is, like, so foreign.
Off the table.
Yeah. Like, hello.
But, like, also that thing, too, where someone was like, oh, being polyamorous, you're just going to get hurt. Like, look at all these single people just getting hurt. All these monogamous people getting hurt. Like, it's just the same. Like, it's the same side of the coin. Everyone gets hurt. Love fucking risk. Hurts. Yeah. Like, being in love
can hurt
staying in love. Like,
it can cause you pain sometimes.
That's the thing we talk about.
That's just the way it works.
Couples therapy all the time is because, like, one of my things is, like, I'm always so fearful because I don't want to hurt you or hurt your feelings or, like, do anything that will cause you pain. But, like, being partner with somebody, inevitably you will do something
that's a
that
truth
will hurt
that we all
you.
need to sit with.
Yeah. And, like, it does suck to say, but also then, too, like, acknowledge it and do the things you need to do to, like, prevent it, obviously, and make sure, like, obviously, like, big breaches of trust and whatnot. But, like,
that's
those
different.
are things that would have,
But also, too, like, that's why it's so important to gain a proficiency in like, actual repair attempts,
and
right?
sharing your feelings and emotions. And
because, like, if we enter into a relationship under this fantasy that, like, I will just be a good enough boy that I'll never hurt anyone, like, that's not true.
But also,
like,
you're setting yourself up for...
Yes, that's not attainable. And you're also setting yourself up for a shame spiral.
Yeah.
So, like,
absolutely.
Really, your work is better spent on acknowledging that, like, I am imperfect and I may accidentally hurt this person at some point. So I'm going to do the work to figure out my own emotions, my own, like, shit, so that I can, like, effectively sit with that and, like, really take accountability and then, like, make a real repair attempt,
I think that's the thing we talk about, too, is why apologies are so important.
Yes.
And, like,
yes.
Of course, like, go for it.
No, go ahead.
Go.
Which is why Uche's fucking apology just pisses me the fuck off. Oh, it's so bad.
Also, let's get back on that. So, okay, so just without me beating around the bush, I don't think he was doing it God, I don't know though, because he really laid into though. It's not like he made one comment.
I know.
He made one thing though, but also like someone you're dating. Also, you just met this person. And like third though, like who are you to fucking judge?
Yes.
Also, like who gives a fuck? I'm like, oh damn, that's pretty shitty. But like, thank you for telling me. And he got there at the end eventually. But like, also how much damage
that he did.
How much damage had been done.
Yes.
And also he had that conversation. And like that's the thing too, where it's like, so are you just presenting it in this way that like, oh, you had this clarity, you had this epiphany. Mm-hmm. Like, is it worth throwing this? Like, and that one guy did help with that. He was like, is this worth throwing it away?
Yeah.
And it's like, she hasn't cheated on you yet. And also, too, like, if you're assuming that, like, if anyone has ever done anything bad, then just don't date anyone ever.
Yes.
Because everyone's going to have bad stuff from their past.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe not everyone, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. I think everybody does.
Everyone's going to have something. And that's the point of being in relationships with people is you grow and you learn.
Yes.
And, like, which is why I hate when fundies are like, no, get married to the first person you meet as fast as fucking possible so that, like, you have no experience and you know nothing about anyone else.
Like, literally why?
And then no wonder you're fucking mad and repressed and stuff as you get older and you see other. It's like the thing when we're in school and they were like, oh, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, or a fucking firefighter, or like join the military.
Yes.
And you get like, those are your 4 options kind of thing.
Options, yeah.
And then you go to college and you're like, you work for a little while and then you meet new friends and whatever. And then you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was a fucking job.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
It's the same shit.
Yes. I know. I fully agree with that. Oh, I lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. What were you talking about before the jobs? Oh, the apology thing.
Tell me. Yes, apologies.
Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But I was thinking about the apology thing though.
Yeah. As a train, we're back on the rails. We're back on track.
Like you did something else.
I did? Go on.
So I have a couple of thoughts about this.
Okay, tell me.
The first thing, like, I'm kind of with you that like it's hard for me to like put my full ass behind like I think that he was manipulating her.
I couldn't tell.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then also at the same time, I'm like, okay, so he did really lay into her, like you were saying, right? Like
there was dialogue. It was
it wasn't just one comment. And I agree with you because I think if the perspective is that you've done something shitty in a past relationship, you're not worthy of dating, then like where do we draw that line, right? Like is Uche then like also going to extrapolate
technically
this?
Too.
Well, and like is Uche going to extrapolate this then into like, oh, you're traumatized or like your parents were not like good parents, so therefore you probably have attachment issues and you're not worthy of my love? Like, is that the logical next? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he believes that, but I'm just saying,
but like
you
could.
Yes, that's
walk
not
that
really
way
a far
easily.
logical jump for somebody who's really committed to this very punitive perspective about relationships.
It was punitive though. I was like, why are you punishing her for something?
Yes.
And like, I think Lydia said that too, or also that just it. You know what's so funny in that moment too? I was like. Damn, does Lydia know shit like we don't? Or because I was like, she's like too fucking spot on. And then when I can't remember when they were all talking about the like, oh, I can see myself in you, yada yada yada.
Super weird now.
Like
kind of
also,
creepy.
Okay, so I think the Uche stuff. So we're kind of on the fence about it, but like,
well, I do have more thoughts about it.
Oh, keep going then, please.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry. There's so much. There's so much.
I know. So I guess my like finishing thoughts about like whether Uche did this on purpose or not. I could see this going both ways. One, because there was a couple of clips of like him. Like just his face, like his like resting face while Aaliyah is talking. And I want to be super clear, it's entirely possible that Netflix cut in his face from completely random parts of this conversation to make it look this way. Yeah. Right? Like we know 100%. That Netflix does this. There's literally proof that Netflix played a clip of Mal from season 3 backwards to make it look like she whipped her head around to go look at someone, and like literally they just played the footage backwards. So they like very obviously do manipulate the footage this way. We know this for a fact.
I could totally have seen
it's
them.
entirely possible that they did do this, but there was a couple of times where she was talking and he has this like weird smirk on his face. Yeah. It's this kind of like smarmy, like this knowing look. And like as a person who has been on the receiving end of people both successfully and like, you know, not successfully trying to manipulate me. Like I immediately clocked that fucking look, right? Like
it's like universal.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
anybody who has been in a relationship like that or like has had face-to-face contact with someone who like is pretty adept at manipulating others, I feel like will recognize that look. But then also at the same time, it's possible that I'm just like making that up,
and like
right?
Because of your
projecting
own shit.
my own shit onto him, you know. But at the same time, I am leaning towards like him having either done this on purpose or like there being some aspect of intentionality. I don't know if it's like in such a severe way that people are painting it.
Are people painting it in a way that like...
Yes, that like this man is an obvious abuser and he came here with the intent to abuse someone, which feels like a pretty heavy accusation to make about a stranger.
I think we... really like want. I think too sometimes it's easier for us to just say like, oh, this person's a piece of shit. Look at this. Like he's and like is that behavior fucked up? Like yes,
obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But also I think like throwing around
these titles,
and like allegations like that or whatever without like a lot of evidence, especially from a TV show that's manipulating us.
Yes.
And like
feels
the final product,
up.
Like I just think it's like it just, and I know it's a bias thing because we just want, it's easier for us.
Yes.
It's like if a bad person is wholly bad,
yes,
it's easier to hate them.
Correct.
But like when you get the like, oh, they're actually like kind of a good person and do things that like, or like things that you've done, or like you see,
Yeah. I think to me, like the thing that makes the most sense is that he was like emotionally activated because of his own shit.
And he did acknowledge that.
Yes. But then I think he started to look for reasons that like she was being shitty, because this is a thing that we do when we have like a wound around a particular thing.
Oh yeah.
We'll use the trust thing as an example. If you've been burned with like trust betrayal in the past and somebody tells you something that you're like, oh, you're not a trustworthy person, our brain immediately defaults to this like confirmation bias thing where like I want to find reasons to cut and run so that I don't feel like a dickhead.
And I won't get hurt then.
Well, yeah. So like I can protect myself. I won't get hurt, but also I don't look like an asshole or like a paranoid piece of shit by saying like you gave me one thing and so I ran with it. And so we can like kind of dig at people to like look for reasons that they embody the thing that we're afraid they might embody. Right?
No,
so,
makes complete sense.
My like best guess is that he got emotionally activated and like got upset at her and started projecting his own hurt from this past betrayal onto her. Yeah. And then because she responded in the way that she did, where she was like being very like wounded, she was like very clearly triggered, I think, by all of this. He just like kept
She left the room after that, didn't she?
Digging and digging. No, that was after the Lydia thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he just kept digging and digging. And then when he realized how fucked up that was, I think he doubled down. So in their next conversation, when she was like, you said this stuff, I felt like you were condemning me. And he was like, but did I say that? And she was like, yes. Yeah, you did. And I think he realized how fucked up that was. So he tried to like double down and make himself look like a not a bad person. My brain got like stuck.
I know how that goes.
So I think he like doubled down. Yeah. And I think he was like intentionally trying to represent himself as like not a shitty person and like therefore paint her in a worse light to like by comparison I'm better.
Yes.
But I don't think that he came in with this explicit intention of like I'm going to manipulate somebody on this show.
I don't think so.
You know
either.
what I'm saying?
I don't think so either.
That's my hypothesis.
Also because again too, to manipulate someone effectively is a lot of work. And I love the food shots.
Oh
the
my God.
And like go off, baby. I know you're dying.
I'm so angry about it. I want you guys to know that I'm actually going to go through my old streams and I'm going to try to find footage of the kitchen, like the table and stuff from like season 1, especially because I don't know if this is true, but I'm like pretty fucking certain that the kitchen in like season 1 was literally just the place that the wine glasses and the alcohol lived.
I feel like I can picture that.
I don't remember seeing food, but like to me, it's not a coincidence that all of these allegations surfaced. And like, we get this really obvious beauty shot of this huge breakfast buffet.
I didn't get to see it, but I believe
in the women's quarters, like, this bacon is so good. Like, tell me that a producer wasn't like,
no,
how's the bacon? Like, come the fuck on, right?
No,
like,
literally.
They obviously did it on purpose.
They're like, no, we need our food shots to cover our ass.
Yes, but then even in the pods, first of all, everybody is carrying around 2 glasses, which to me seems like the subtext of like, here's your water, here's your alcohol. Make it very obvious that you're carrying 2 glasses. And also there's the bin of snacks in all the pods.
I know this is super weird, or like, I don't know if I'm like looking too far into it too, but I'm wondering if they're like, hey, you have to carry around some food with you or something, because Aaliyah literally had a can of Pringles unopened and was just carrying it around.
Yes!
Like her emotional support Pringles.
I really feel like that's a requirement. Like before they let you into the pods area, they're like, here's your water, here's your food, carry it around on camera. We don't give a shit what you do with it, but here you go.
You need to have this with you. Like, so that they can be like, no, see, they had plenty of opportunities to eat, and if they chose not to, like, that's on them.
Yes, I think so too.
Sus.
I think so. It's just, I guess, an important media literacy thing to be aware of. I said this on stream, but like, it's not just what people are showing you, it's when they're showing it to you. And again, in my opinion, not a coincidence that all of a sudden there seems to be just like food and water aplenty all over this fucking set.
So the other aspect of that too is then, so then Aaliyah in this regard too, because her reaction to it, because my impression is like she's very emotionally mature without a doubt.
She seems like it,
but her reaction, like I don't know if it's like a jealousy thing or like because I feel like when I fumble shit and fuck stuff up, like I really have to like fucking get in the shit, to unfuck it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like for everyone. I don't know how that works. And also too, like, I know we have like we
have a dynamic.
But like he just gave the most half-ass apology. And she was like, yeah, cool. All right, cool. We're getting married or what? Like,
well, I think it was because he had manipulated her and he like pushed her trauma buttons.
I think the thing you were talking about too with Lydia and him doing it at the same, like both ends of it basically. So it's like, also no shit, like you have no support system at this point. It's like, who do you fucking trust anymore?
Well, and who are you supposed to talk to? Because the one person that was supposed to be her touchstone to help keep her grounded ended up being a betrayer. So now what?
And we haven't even seen them how that goes.
I
feel like it's gonna be some water under the bridge fucking bullshit.
1,000%.
I have no more feelings for him. Like he's all yours. I didn't want to get in your way, kind of a thing.
That's my perspective.
Yeah.
Because also too, the way that she was sitting when Uche was like yelling at her, basically he didn't actually yell at her, but when he was like chastising her, looked almost like a little kid. When they're being reprimanded. Yeah. This is purely psychobabble. This is like purely armchair pop psychology bullshit. I just want to be super clear about this. That's the point of this medium. This is meant to live here.
It's for fun.
But this is literally just an observation that I would make on the couch between you and me.
Tell me.
But like, I very much, like it looked like when a child is being chastised by a parent and it looked like she reverted into this like part of herself, this like inner child part of herself. Yeah. I would bet big money that one of her parents was like verbally abusive to her or like there was some kind of dynamic either like with a past partner or like a sibling or somebody, religious trauma, something that like this woman has been on the receiving end of the like you're a bad person,
like
basically
into someone when they're like
down. And the shame thing, the like you're a bad person because you did this bad thing.
That's a good observation.
Because she just looked like she had like the 1,000-yard stare. She had the like glazed over eyes. She was just like, it looked like what clients look like when they dissociate in session, when they're like just trying to survive, and you're like, whoa, like hold on. We have to like, that's when like get ice packs out and stuff. Like when people lose it, because they're just like, they're in the room with you, but they're not in the room with you. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like there was something happening to her in that moment, which is why I think she's responding in the way that she is. It's almost like this fawning thing where like, please God, don't do that to me again. Please don't yell at me again. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll say whatever you want me to say. Like I will sort of toe this party line so that you don't turn into this person who like verbally abuses me.
That's like a defense mechanism too, isn't it? Like fawn or fight or what is it? Or,
So the like the like psychologically agreed upon responses are fight or flight.
Oh yes.
There's also freeze. There's also fawn. Fawn like technically doesn't fit into the category. I talk about all four of them interchangeably because it's just, to me, it's pedantic. I think it's stupid.
Oh, because like all this.
Because technically fawn is not something that happens exactly in the moment that you're being traumatized. It's a response to like after the fact.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I see what you're saying. I think
it's nitpicky personally. But for those of you who don't know, fight or flight are like the sort of classically discussed ones where like in these moments where you're confronted with like essentially a danger, either like to your ego or to your physical self, your responses are either to fight back or to run away.
Obviously.
Freeze is a really common one though. I don't know why we didn't talk about this earlier.
It's just like belly up, like.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and just it's deer in headlights. Like I don't know what to do. I can't. These are the people in horror movies that everybody's like, run, bitch.
You're running.
Yeah, and like because you can't, because your nervous system shuts down and you don't know what to do. You just like sort of do nothing. And to a degree, it is kind of the belly up thing of just like, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna sit and wait for this to be over.
Let it be over. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna try to like recede into the deepest recesses of my mind and like be as far away from this moment consciously as I can.
Yeah.
And then the fawn thing is essentially where you start to like fawn on the person who traumatized you, right? Like this is a really common response for people who are kids that have traumatizing parents. You become the person who is like, your mom's best friend or like, if you
like
have an abusive partner, you become the person who's like, defensive of this behavior and like, I deserve this behavior
because
it's the like daddy hits me because he loves me thing.
How do you think the whole Lydia thing's gonna play out, or how do you think, or what did Lydia, because obviously, so we saw that they showed the clip of their first date, and so they both knew very early on. Also too, like, can we just be so for real? If you heard Lydia speaking, how could you not?
That's what I'm saying.
How could you?
How could you not know? She's a very unique person.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Her mannerisms and her like,
and like,
her
granted,
tone
you
of
can't
voice.
see her, but like her tone of
you
voice,
would know, like
the way that she conducts herself seems like something you would clock from 100 yards away.
Also, it might have been the thing too where he might have thought it was her too, like just to play devil, to get both sides of it. Where it's like, there's no way they put her on this, like she's on this show.
You don't want to look like an asshole or a fucking weirdo.
And like say the wrong person's name.
Or be like, are you my ex? And someone's like, wow, you're so obsessed with your ex. And then they all go talk about you behind your back.
No.
Fair.
So I kind of get that.
That's
but
valid.
Also like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, should she have told Aaliyah?
Yes.
Or almost, I'm wondering if she should have like also like just not touched Aaliyah with a 100-foot pole when she learned, or like is there even a right thing?
Here's my thing. They found out on day one.
Yeah.
Yes, we know this. It said day one on the thing.
Yeah.
They were clearly introducing themselves for the first time.
It was like the first time. They had their little books and everything. They were fresh.
They found out on day one, right? So to me,
do you think the producers put them together the first day?
Yes, 1,000%.
Right.
But to me, if this happened, right? Yeah. I make the decision to go on this show and there's all this stuff happening. I go into this pod and I'm like, oh my God, this is my ex. Netflix actually cast my fucking ex-boyfriend on this show. You know what the first fucking thing I'm doing as soon as I get out of that pod? Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. Know. I would lose my mind. I would immediately, I'm running into the women's quarters to be like, you are not going to fucking believe what just happened. And also, like, if the relationship ended poorly or whatever, I'm running into that room to be like, everybody avoid the fuck out of that, man.
Yeah, no shit. I would.
Right?
Do you think there's no world in which the producers didn't tell her, like, hey, you're not allowed to say anything,
That's what I'm saying. Not that that makes it better.
No.
Because like I'm still very upset. I'm personally wounded by Lydia's behavior that didn't affect me at all.
But there's just no way, I feel like now, because no matter what, that experiment affects 4 people now.
Yes.
Because it's whoever, because you just can't, I feel like it's tainted. It's so tainted.
I think that the producers did it on purpose. I think
do you think they
probably
cast her knowing do you think they knew beforehand, or do you think like they learned?
Yes.
Well, sometimes I'm like, they're so incompetent.
Okay, but also...
You think they knew when they cast?
Yes. Because here's the thing.
Okay.
Do I think that Netflix is like somewhat, or like Kinetic Content, I guess, is the production company. Do I think that they're somewhat incompetent in regards to like the way that they handle themselves?
Of course.
Yeah. But also, from a liability perspective, these people need to know everything about these human beings who are coming on this show, because this is like, first of all, a fucking bad look after the issue that they had with the queer ultimatum, right?
Yeah.
We know that they're somewhat committed to trying to defend themselves, at least from an optics perspective, with the food thing.
Or the contestants.
Kinetic.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because of the food thing, right? They seem to be trying to defend themselves against these allegations about the food thing and all of that stuff. And they did get a lot of bad press after what happened with the queer ultimatum, where they forced a victim of abuse to sit with their abuser, right?
Yeah.
So I personally I refuse to believe that they're just like, they have a whole fucking team of lawyers whose job it is to make sure that whoever the fuck gets cast on the show isn't going to bring the fucking House of Cards down.
Or I feel like generally speaking, the theme is that like the first couple episodes are boring as fuck.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering if this was their way, because like you even said too, you were like, they fucking got off into it. Like after the first episode, I remember you texting me like, baby, you won't believe this fucking season so far.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I actually talked about this too. I think I talked about this with my friend. I don't know if I told you this yet.
Well, tell me again.
My personal opinion is that Netflix is aware that, at this point we're in season 5, right? It's kind of a tired setup.
Much.
The show was initially like such an interesting thing to people because no one had ever really done something like this.
Yeah.
Like obviously we have Married at First Sight, which is somewhat close, but it's like kind of different in the way that they set it up.
Yeah, but I also wonder too, just for the sake of, if COVID had not happened literally like the week it came out.
Yes.
Like would it have had?
Oh, no. Well, that's the other thing too, is that like they sort of catapulted themselves to success on accident because everybody was stuck at home. People were quarantining and it happened to come out at like exactly the right time. Yeah. But I think they know that the magic, the luster has sort of worn off for people. It's kind of a tired.
They could use some soap.
Yes. Yeah. So I think they intentionally situated this triangulation, drama because they know that people are going to talk about it and that it's going to get them a lot of press, and like it worked. Here we are. Right? It clearly worked. I think they know what they're doing. I refuse to believe that this was just something that like organically, accidentally happened.
There's fingers in the pot, right? Like there's the little whatever those things are called.
Yeah, the like puppeteering kind of thing is happening. Yeah. I think obviously like the reactions from the people, you know, like Uche and Aaliyah and Lydia, that's probably somewhat organic.
I think so too.
I don't think that they are scripting it to that degree.
They better not be.
But you can't convince me that they accidentally cast Lydia and Uche together.
They're like, it's like a choose your own adventure to some degree.
Yes.
But like
we've
on
set
rails.
the pieces up in this way, and we're just going to sort of watch the dominoes fall now.
So back to the Lydia thing though. So what I mean, obviously she had an obligation to tell. I mean, like, so how would that have played out? What should that have looked like? I guess in a world where we care about the contestants on the show, not we, but like they care about the well-being.
So again, to me, I think if everything had gone meddled by the producers, right? In like a normal reaction, I think Lydia would come out of those pods and tell everybody who would listen that she ended up on the show with her ex and like tell them about him and whatever, right?
You would read him to filth, but is it the right thing to do to read?
Well, no, but like generally speaking, I think in a normal world, she would have acknowledged that like this was happening at least. So I don't even think it would have needed to have been a like, Aaliyah, I need to tell you something.
Because then she would have just known.
So much as it was just like everybody knows.
That's a good
Everybody
point.
already knew that this was happening. And so if Aaliyah did decide to like go in, she might not have known anything about Uche specifically, right? But like she would at least know that Lydia and him had dated in the past. And like to me, that's all the disclosure that's required, right? Like I can understand wanting to be faithful to the experiment. Not wanting to tell Aaliyah what he looks like or anything about their dating history. Super fair, but at least acknowledging that like, yes, I do in fact know that man.
Like my ex is here,
yeah.
Also, I wonder too to some degree because he got kind of weird there, finding out about because he asked Aaliyah how Milton was doing with Lydia.
Yeah, do you think Uche and Lydia are still in love with each other?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a thing where like he had love for her.
Yeah.
I believe when he said that.
Yeah.
He had love for her, but not in love with her.
Sure.
But also too, sometimes dudes be getting weird though. And very like kind of like the territorial competitive.
If I can't have her, then no one should.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. But also he didn't seem like he was actively, but I could just see, I'd be curious to see what that looks like when they get, because I'm sure Lydia or Aaliyah and Uche are going to end up together.
Yeah.
Like that's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what that dynamic looks like once everyone can see each other again. But yeah, where they set them up at the parties and they're drinking and they're in person again. And I'm sure maybe he said he wasn't in love with her, but he has love for her. And then we'll see how that, That's my prediction where that's going.
The other thing that's hard about this though is that I have a feeling that Aaliyah is going to forgive everybody involved. Right?
Oh, 100%.
And so I think you're right. This is going to manifest in all four of these people, Uche, Aaliyah, Lydia, and probably Milton.
Milton's getting dragged in this now.
Poor guy.
He's in this.
They're all going to end up together at these like group, drunken stupor evenings. And
they're going to set it up, where's Uche? Oh, where's Lydia?
Well, I think what's going to happen is that they're going to meddle in each other's relationships.
And I wonder that, because that was my other thing too. I was like, are they going to, like, in what way do you think?
I think, first of all, Lydia is going to project all of her shit about Uche onto Aaliyah. Because also, I'm deathly curious about what actually happened in their relationship. Because Lydia doesn't strike me as particularly reactive necessarily. Like, she's expressive. She seems like she has a comfort in being open about her emotions and herself, right?
Totally.
But she doesn't come off as like the sort of scorched earth kind of person.
Yeah, and I do kind of wish she was.
I know, same.
Or no, I wish Aaliyah was.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm talking about Lydia.
No, I know.
Oh,
saying,
okay.
Because I was just thinking back to that moment when she finds out it was Lydia.
I know.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, go on.
That in a minute. But Lydia doesn't strike me as that kind of person.
Yeah.
Not that we know that, obviously.
Of course.
But I just don't see her being the like going nuclear sort of person.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that Uche acknowledged that Lydia blocked him on Instagram. Because
that's what I'm saying. If you just broke up like amicably.
Why did she do that then?
And like and then him to be like, I just don't think she could have handled seeing pictures of me and yada yada. Like you can just unfollow. Blocking is very different. Also you can mute.
Also, that seems like the very stereotypical thing of like, oh, she just couldn't handle seeing how great I am. Like, why do you think it's about you? Like, maybe actually you were a dick to her and she blocked you because you broke up with her in a way that was really rude. Or maybe you talked to her with any semblance of the way that you talked to Aaliyah.
Or God
and
forbid
so
she
blocked
something.
you because Lydia was like, wow, you are super fucking rude and I don't want to talk to you, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just very curious about the particulars of what all went down
most
there.
Definitely.
I hope that we get some clarification about that history.
I'm ready for you to watch the next episode, though.
So tell me about it. I can't wait.
Because I need to know. You just don't block.
No. So well, to be fair, some people do.
I guess, yeah, I do kind of be doing that too.
Well, no, not you, but like just you and I are sort of outliers in this regard.
Well, I mean, like when I need to not see someone though, or like see that, like I'll just mute them though. I love that option on Instagram.
Which is what I'm saying.
Go on.
Is that you and I are sort of outliers in this regard.
Okay.
That I think I've blocked like 2 people in my whole life. I just don't really do that unless it's something that like I genuinely have no faith in your ability to respect my boundaries. That's what I use blocking for, is like, you're going to harass me unless I remove your opportunity to do it. Yeah. But some people block people just like as punishment, or like just because really they're angry at them, or like just to like send a message. Some people block people, like block people, unblock, block people, unblock. Like some people really do this. And like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think it's also important to acknowledge that like, just because you or I think that blocking someone is the nuclear option doesn't mean that it is necessarily.
You know, that's fair too. Cause I think that's that thing too, where like when we first started dating and we were like, wow, everyone out here is so jaded and like, it's like, no,
why are you guys all so rude?
Welcome to the fucking club. No, for real. So with Lydia, I wish in that moment it had been you on there, because that would have been the best TV. You would have been like, that would have been like, I didn't get no sleep because of y'all. Y'all didn't get no sleep because of me moments.
Oh, you mean Aaliyah?
Yeah, if you had been in her shoes.
Oh, you said Lydia.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I meant Aaliyah.
You're fine.
When Aaliyah finds out, when Uche tells Aaliyah that, also, it's just, I'm wondering too what the sequence of events was.
Yes.
No, actually, it probably really did go in that way.
You think?
But like where he lays into her for cheating.
Yeah. Oh, no, it definitely happened that way.
And that's, and then he, like, and also I can't imagine, like, that's the other thing too, where I'm like, so he has zero self-awareness, or like, or he is being manipulative, where he's like, because I'd been like, so look, I know I just got like super mad and like a little triggered yesterday with the cheating thing. Yeah. But like, now I gotta lie to you. You know, like, what world is it where like you don't see how those,
I don't know, like, the male entitlement world?
Yeah, clearly, what a drug.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to see you had been in Aaliyah's shoes, because I would have been, me too, honestly, I'd have been out that door banging on fucking,
I would have been so
like,
angry.
Lydia, where the fuck are you?
Because that's the thing that gets me, is that it's almost more of a betrayal from somebody who is like meant to be this trustworthy confidant.
And is giving you advice.
Yes.
And helping.
Well, and like so, the bond between women and femme presenting folks, and again, just like basically people who are not cishet men, this bond is like a sacred thing. Yeah. Right? Like, it's not a thing.
Said I love to each other.
Yes. And she was talking about how like she's going to be a great aunt to my kids one day.
Oh my God, I know.
Like, this bond is obviously not just like a random strangers, like we just so happen to get along.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that hurt must have been so fucking deep.
And I'm blown away that she didn't immediately leave this room to be like, what the fuck is your fucking problem? Because when I tell you that I would have burned down somebody's house, I would have lost my mind. Like, I do not.
That's
this
the
is
Scorpio.
Like, this is a part of me that like doesn't exist on the internet. And like, thankfully, I don't really do this because I've worked on myself a lot, and I'm a lot more capable.
I think a lot of people are very lucky you've worked on yourself.
But you know the thing that we joke about, that like I could be meaner, and I wish people appreciate that. Like, very much that.
Oh,
right?
very much.
Like,
the hair isn't there for nothing.
I'm very capable of like noticing and like monitoring, like moderating my own emotions,
you are. I'll totally
so that it doesn't just turn into messy behavior. Yeah.
I've seen Nuclear Option.
I can like feel my feelings and not let that inform like unhinged behavior anymore. But like I would have lost it. Like, my worst self would have came out in that moment, because I would have been
TV.
like, fuck you, fuck all of you fucking producers and you camera people and you light people and you microphone people. Like, all of you can get fucked. Every single one of
sucks.
you. And I'm leaving also. I would have been so mad.
Oh my God.
Like, I just am like blown away by the fact that she was just kind of like
either so mature or so like or whiplash, or like
entirely possible that she's just more mature than I am, but it does seem kind of like a trauma response almost.
God,
because her just like, I'm gonna go cry for like 5 minutes and then it's okay, we'll just get through it, basically. Like, hello, this man just betrayed your trust. He treated you like garbage, and then also turns out that he's a hypocrite.
Well, and I'm like, so then like, is this again too back to the thing of like, is it just so you can be on the experiment still? On the show, like, is this leading, like, Because I just can't imagine
entirely
being
possible.
So betrayed like that. Yeah. It's so fucking shitty.
I don't know. Well, and this is again too where we have to acknowledge how competitive and insular this environment is, where there is kind of this subtext, right? That like if you choose the nuclear option at this point, which is to tell Uche to go fuck himself, then you go home for nothing.
You're out of the show.
And I think for a lot of people in this situation, not even just for the clout, even though like that is a thing that like, you know, people want to like be famous and whatever, but also because like basically you're saying then this is worth me getting kicked off the show and having survived all of this like essentially trauma.
For nothing?
For nothing.
Yeah.
And I have like just nothing to show for this experience. Like that sucks.
Yeah. That scene where Aaliyah is hugging Lydia. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I definitely encourage people to go back and watch it. Yeah.
Yes, watch it again.
And they're having the blankets. And her body, even when I was watching Lydia's body language was so weird. It was like she was sad.
Yes.
For the things, because Aaliyah was talking about how in love she was.
Yes.
And how sure she was of Uche.
Yeah.
And Lydia's just sitting there like staring off into space, but she's still like being comforting and being a good friend.
Yeah.
And, like saying all the good things. But like Aaliyah is like consoling Lydia.
Yes. It looks really sad.
Yeah.
Lydia looks like she feels guilty almost.
God, can you imagine a world where that's the scene after they have a conversation, after they find out about the Lydia or the Uche, the love triangle thing or whatever, and like they put that there and like
no way.
Because why? I always wonder with like how crazy.
I don't think so.
That would be.
There would be some acknowledgement of that.
Have to be. Well, I mean, unless they just cut out and played it.
I do think that Lydia in that moment either felt guilty or felt jealous, because she did say the thing about how like nobody loved me or nobody's ever loved me or something.
Oh yeah, no, very much the like because she basically said like, oh, I wish someone would love me like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, looking back on it now, I'm like, okay, are you sad because you know that you're being or untruthful with your friend?
Yes.
Or are you jealous because your friend is in love with this man who dumped you? You know?
Which like
both of which are human reactions, neither of which are good things to be feeling, and not acknowledge that with your best friend.
Yes, because it very much is that like very much like why is he able to do? Like, I can already hear it now. Like why is he able to do? I could see that coming up in the show again and again and again. Like why is he doing this for you? Why is he able to do that for you?
Especially because she said something to Izzy when he rejected her about there has to be a reason. Tell me what the reason is. Yeah. And so I can see that becoming a problem in Lydia, Uche, Aaliyah's like dynamic of like, I need a good enough reason. Yeah. Like, it's okay. I don't love you. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. But what's the reason?
What's
like there has to be a reason that you love her and you can't love me because we're so similar. She said it in the show. I see myself in you. We're the same person. We're so similar. And so I feel like that's going to turn into a problem where Lydia is going to corner Uche and be like, why do you love her and you don't love me?
God, I think you're so right.
Which is so shady.
That's so shitty too. That they're gonna have to just I'm assuming they're all gonna get matched and just have to deal with that the whole fucking time.
And that's the other thing that's important to acknowledge too. I just want to encourage people to remember this. Netflix wouldn't waste our time developing a character arc with someone who's not going to be on the rest of the show, right? So like Johnny, I don't remember his name, the guy she rejected first.
As far as I'm concerned, there's 3 people on this show right now.
Just because I didn't show you everybody.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying.
But like Johnny and the guy that she rejected are for sure going to end up getting together.
Yeah.
Izzy and what's her name, Stacy, I think, are going to end up together probably. Okay. Uche and Aaliyah, Lydia and Milton. Like all of these people are going to end up together because Netflix has devoted so much time to showing us these people and developing this character arc.
Yeah.
We know them. We love them now. Of course, they're going to end up engaged to somebody, and they're going to Mexico.
I'm sure the headlines after this weekend and stuff. Like,
yes, yeah. So yeah, I'm really curious to see where the whole things go. I feel like Mexico, especially, is going to be a fucking disaster because the honeymoon period is always the worst, where they're just like in each other's space. It's not going to be good.
Yeah,
because that was when the stuff with Mal and what's his name?
God, I cannot remember anyone.
The seasons all came out so close together that I'm like, I don't know who these people are anymore.
When you looked at
it wasn't Mal and Sal, because that was the guy that she ended up getting engaged to. It was the other guy.
Went back and looked. They've gone like 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're gonna keep pumping them out because they're doing another. They did another one in Texas. They're doing one in Phoenix.
We started live streaming Love Is Blind when season 3 came out, and that was 10 months ago.
That was literally this year.
Yeah,
we hadn't even had channel memberships yet. I don't think.
No,
like that's crazy.
Like that's actually insane.
Yeah.
They have pumped out these last 3 seasons in such quick succession.
I don't know how many crews they have working, if it's like the same crew or like how.
But I feel like that should just speak to how likely or possible it is that the production quality, like behind the scenes on this show, is not as good as they want us to think it is, because they're running these seasons essentially back to back then.
Yeah.
The amount of time that's required to edit that amount of footage.
I can't imagine.
Into...
to go through alone. They probably have hundreds of cameras. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And the sound, they have to like manually match all of the sound from like all of these different, like the boom mics and the personal mics and the room mics, like all of this stuff. And that doesn't even account for the fact that they have to watch through all this footage and make production decisions about where is this character arc going? Like what story are we telling? And then we edit the clips to like tell the story we want.
Yeah.
Like the amount of time that's required is insane. And so for 3 seasons to come out in 10 months time and they're casting 3 more currently, that's insane. I think these people are working around the clock.
I think there's a thing one of the Survivor contestants said, like, you know, there's hundreds of hours and you get an hour. Mm-hmm. You get like literally a snippet.
A glimpse. Of our
crazy.
Life. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
So I have as ever side eye and suspicion for Netflix and kinetic content.
We'll say they kept it juicy this time. I guess you can't complain about it being boring.
True.
1.25 speed is the move though.
Oh, always. It feels like the normal speed. I don't know how people watch shows at one like regular speed.
I'm wondering if because you consume most of your media at higher speeds. Yeah, I think that's it.
Also, I have wicked ADHD.
I know, and thank God.
But still, we still get comments about that.
Down?
Yeah. Okay. We still get comments about that all the time, that people will slow down my videos. Or
I'm glad the option's there.
We get comments all the time too from people who are like, you're one of the only content creators that I can watch at regular speed and not have to speed it up because you talk at the same speed that my brain processes when you have ADHD.
I want you to know,
which is great. I love that.
I think your ADHD is leeching. Because I used to, like, a podcast at normal speed didn't seem like that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. But then after listening to it, I remember the first time we did it, and you're like, just give it a try. Like, let me.
Yeah, just give it a minute.
I was like, just let me. And we did it. And now anytime it's at normal speed, I'm like, is this how slow people talk?
Literally. Yes.
But, like, it's us.
Exactly. Well, okay. Yes.
I feel like we're like the squirrel.
Fair. But also, for what it's worth, there is something to be said about like the process of unmasking, and like you and I both grew up with environments that were not particularly validating of our ADHD.
Oh no, mine definitely came through in video games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and like we didn't really have the freedom or the space to express ourselves in the way that like comes most naturally, which is like chaotic, disjointed, very loud, very fast, right?
I used to work on essays, play WoW, and listen to music
at the same time.
Have something like another little bit like just.
Yeah, exactly.
But then sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why is the fridge so loud?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I can hear the lights and it's making me want to rip my fucking ears off. But no, that's what I'm saying is that I think in the work that we've done on ourselves, we have, I think, also been doing like a gradual unmasking of like our ADHD stuff where we're just like giving ourselves permission to be the way that we are, which means then that we're like most comfortable with like media that's sped up and like doing a bunch of shit all at the same time.
We just want to go fast. People just want to go fast.
I just want to go fast, man. I just want to zoom around.
Oh man.
All right, that's it.
That's it. My rec this week is Buzzballs.
No, that was gonna be my rec.
Let's do a group.
We're doing a group rec.
Go buy some Buzzballs.
You guys were obsessed with them.
Golly. Which one did we not like? Okay, so we bought a bunch of flavors last night because we can't just do something. We can't just try something.
Backstory. Let's explain.
What is the backstory? Tell me.
So we have seen content on TikTok over the last couple of weeks of people talking about Buzzballs and like talking about how good they are and whatever.
We'd seen them at the store too before, and I was like, they look lame as fuck.
No, exactly, because it's at the Total Wine that we shop at. It's in the same spot as like the pre-made Jell-O shots,
and also it's on the bottom floor. Like, it's like literally like bottom shelf.
You have to like clean them off a little.
We got to try that pumpkin one though.
Okay, but anyways,
go on. Sorry,
focusing. So we have seen content on TikTok about people talking about Buzzballs and talking about like really liking them and whatever. And initially we were like, that's really weird. Like, go off, but like that's not really for me, right? Yeah. And then we saw this video of some like liquor store, I think, that sells these kits. That's like a big container, like the food service containers, right?
Oh, yes.
And it had a Buzzball. It had like a pack of Skittles. It had like a little like shot bottle, like some little liqueur thing, and like pineapple juice. And so the liquor store sold them as a kit, and you dump all of the stuff in there. You slap the lid on and put your little straw in there. And I was like, whoa, hold on.
You could that's an option.
That looks really fun. I didn't really think about the option of a Buzzball being like a mixer.
I thought it was just the thing you drink.
Yes, and I also too like just the mouth or the hand feel of holding a sphere.
You get a zero.
Not for
0
me.
out of 10 on.
So I was like, I would never buy these. But if you put it in a mixed drink, also to be clear, be careful because they're 15% ABV. Like they do have actually a pretty high alcohol content. But if you like mix it with like juice, like we mixed ours with like juice and Sprite, we did put a little bit more alcohol in there. But we made like like juicy juice kind of a drink.
So good.
And they were delicious.
They weren't super sugary and juicy though. Like especially like
they weren't too sweet.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I liked them. The ones that we really liked was the Lotta Colada. It was like a pina colada flavor.
I love rum. Yes. And like coconut flavored drink. Oh my god.
So we mixed. It was like a rum pineapple coconut situation with like
Malibu
pineapple
Barbie
juice.
Was a drink.
100%.
I wouldn't be allowed to have it apparently if I went to the movie theater. But
you're gonna die mad about that.
No.
And then we also made one that was with the strawberry Rita flavor that we mixed Sprite and
or vodka.
Oh yeah. It was a little bit of vodka. No, I think it was tequila.
It was tequila.
Right. It was like Sprite and a little bit of tequila and some grenadine, like other stuff. Yeah, and it was the most delightful little fruit punchy punch.
Oh, and they're so fun situation. Too. They're bright red and delicious.
Yes. Yeah, so if you're looking for a fun little happy hour drinky situation, we're obsessed with BuzzBalls.
And my thing is always the price per value.
Oh my god, they're so cheap.
It was like $3.50, $3.49.
It was $3.29 at our Total Wine per.
You can't really argue like. That's
and like
great.
for 15% ABV, like I'm not mad at that.
Me at all.
Right? I liked them.
In this economy, it's a budget.
So that's our rec for the week. Cool. I guess that's our communal rec.
I think so. I'm good with that.
All right, cool.
Let's get out of here.
Thanks for coming. If you guys like the video, and then if you want to support the channel, you can subscribe. Yep. We have a Patreon.
Don't forget to watch the stream
memberships,
tomorrow.
That too. I'll see you guys for more Love is Blind tomorrow.
And then main channel on Saturday.
Yeah. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.